Hi, it's Sierra Miller. I can't wait for you to check out my new collection of shoes and accessories at Designer Shoe Warehouse. If you love shoes as much as I do, then trust me, I got you. From cute sneakerinas to the perfect flip-flops to stunning heels, these shoes are all style, no drama. It's a girl's girl summer, and DSW has just the shoes. Shop the Sierra Miller collection right now at your DSW store or dsw.com.
That tells the truth about parenting and talks about all the stuff you wish you knew before having a kid. Today, I'm so excited to speak with one of my good Instagram friends, Fiona Weaver. Fiona is a social worker by training, and she's also the founder of Mama Matters, where she writes, teaches, and works with mothers at the intersection of sleep, matrescence, attachment, and maternal mental health. And for the last 5 years, she's been asking the questions mainstream parent industry doesn't quite know what to do with. I think when I was trying to get you on last season, you were freshly postpartum though. So it's like you get a pass for everything.
So. Thank you. And it's the time difference. There's only one slot that I can pick. So if that falls apart, then
I know. Anyway, our overlapping times are very hard because your morning rush is like my after school rush.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so you do have 3 now. How's it going with 3?
It's going good. It's definitely getting easier, I think, as the smallest one gets a bit bigger. So I have Sunny, who is almost 3, and then I have Zali, who's 7, and Knox, who is 10.
Yeah.
And it has been a roller coaster. Adding that third to the mix after just being so comfortable with 2 has definitely pushed us over the edge in lots of ways. 3 versus 2 is so different, I feel like.
Oh, it totally is because you're outnumbered.
Yeah, outnumbered. And there's less one-on-one time with kids, and there's always if you book a hotel, you need 2 rooms, even though you're happy to share a bed.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, logistics wise, it's a lot more. I can't give people lifts because our car is full, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's going good. It's busy. It's fun. And yeah, it's just a lot.
Do people ask you a lot about having 3? I feel like it's one of the top questions I get is what made you decide to go for 3 or things like that. I think 2 is kind of just the socially accepted normal number of kids. And then any more than that feels like a much bigger decision. Do you get that a lot?
Yeah, 100%. And I actually do feel like it is a big decision. Because I think
totally.
People can oversimplify it and just be like, you never regret the babies you have. And of course you don't, but it changes things. It's more expensive. It's more time consuming. It's to be considered. So
and you had a bigger age gap too. So you guys were fully out of the baby stage, fully out of the toddler stage. So that's a whole different thing too, is getting back into that.
That's probably what I get asked the most, to be honest, that big age gap. And I actually love it.
Yeah.
It's so amazing watching big kids with little kids. I just think it's so cool. It's the sweetest. So Zali was 3, almost 4, I think. And Ross, my husband, planted the seed I reckon we should have another baby. And we had never considered having another baby.
So you thought you were done?
I thought I was done. But then he said that. And once he said it, the idea was in.
Yeah, and you guys were thinking about it.
And it was exciting. And then we had Sunny, and he's awesome. It's been so fun.
Love that. Yeah. I know seeing the older 2 with the 3rd really is so special.
It's so amazing.
I am curious too, because I know you also do sleep work. What is something that you think people are not ready for in the toddler and preschool age? Because our youngest kids are pretty similar in age. They're 3-ish. What do you think is something that parents aren't prepared for about that age, or that you find comes up a lot with clients that have kids that age?
Look, probably the transition from 1 to 0 naps is so messy and goes for so long. So you might crave that consistency around bedtime and lunchtime naps and things. But we have some days where he doesn't nap and he falls asleep at 5 o'clock on the couch, or he doesn't nap and he still goes to bed at 8:30 at night, or he'll have a big late nap and then he'll go to bed at 9:30. And we're okay with that. But I think just knowing that it's still going to be messy for quite some time. longer than you think it will
Yeah.
be. So you can you keep things in mind. You aim for a certain bedtime, you aim for a nap or whatever, but you are still making those day-to-day decisions like, okay, what are we going to do today? Are we going to take an early nap or a late nap or a no nap? And then what does that mean for bedtime? And then the rest is out of your control anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I
What would you
think
say?
that I would say that too. And I would also just say that like they still might need you at night. I think there's this idea that we have that like when they're babies, they are going to need us. And I mean, some people even grapple to accept that. But I think we have this idea that it's just going to get easier and easier as they get older. And in a lot of ways, that is so true. But I think the like 2 to 3, there are also so many different and new things that come up that we don't see in the baby stage, like fears at night or not wanting to be alone all of a sudden or
Absolutely.
Yeah, things like that. So
yeah, for sure. And emotionally, they're a powerhouse.
yeah. Do you find
absolutely
3?
unreasonable.
Do you find 3 being the hardest age?
I
Emotions
think
wise?
it's never black and white, is it? Like I was just thinking yesterday, I got the kids a new board game, and I thought they were saying, okay, so how do we do we have to wait for Sonny to go to bed? And I was like, no, you probably don't. You have to just like make him think he's involved, but he's not going to sit on top of the board game anymore and throw pieces and yell at everyone anymore. So things like that are getting a little bit easier.
Right.
But then they're still so hard in that everything's a thing, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just walking on eggshells and, you know, I'm not about walking on eggshells and like avoiding the meltdown, avoiding the tantrums, but sometimes you just need a break from them. And I think for Sonny, like just in recent months, I'm like, I don't remember ever telling my kids, don't whinge, can't hear you, don't whinge, because he's just a whinger. Like he just communicates in whinging and it just, serious.
Oh, there he is.
Hello. He's also naked.
It's okay. We won't show that.
Yeah.
Hi, Sonny. Hi, cutie.
All right, you go back down with Dad. Where's Dad? Go get him. Can you close my door? I bet he's on the toilet.
So cute. Oh my God, of course. How do you guys handle like the working from home thing with the kids and all of that and like splitting things up?
So it's been really messy because we've just moved house. Like we moved away from the Gold Coast and came a few hours south on the New South Wales coast. So we've definitely been finding our feet. And we moved like 4 weeks before the kids started their new school. Sonny doesn't have any childcare down here. I think we're going to aim for that next year. And so it's been really messy. But since the kids have started school and my husband has started his remedial therapy business here, we have set days, which makes such a difference. I feel like I can be so much more productive in the 3 days that I definitely have versus trying to find time over 5 days.
For sure.
So
yeah,
at
when
the
you have
moment,
that
we've
time carved out. Yeah.
Yeah, we're just splitting days at the moment. Pardon?
You know, Mama, please, spicy car.
I don't. Go and ask Dad. I think he knows where it is. Okay?
That little voice is so cute.
He does have a really cute voice when he's not whinging.
We are going to take one quick break and we're going to come right back.
Okay.
Okay, so Fiona, you also have, you know, a huge expertise and background in infant sleep and mental health and how those things kind of go together is one of the things that I think you're so skilled at talking about. What do you think is kind of the most pervasive or damaging message around sleep that moms are still being told?
I think that you need your baby to sleep for your mental health, which I think you would second as well. I think that's so damaging because it's so dismissive of both mums and babies' mental health. Because I think that you need to look at it as a dyad. If you're separating and pitting them against each other, you're already like doing it wrong. You need to be able to see the mental health of both within the context of their relationship. Everything happens within the context of relationship. So if we're saying to mum, you need to have your baby sleeping independently so then you will feel better, then we're putting the onus on the baby to perform a certain way, to be at their own detriment of their well-being in order to support the mother. And there should be many other ways that we are able to support mothers alongside their babies. So that's where I feel so passionate, is about supporting mums alongside babies to understand what is biologically normal and appropriate for babies, yes, but still working to optimize their sleep and their well-being together so that they can so that they can be okay. Both of them are okay within the context of what's appropriate developmentally. That makes sense?
Totally. I totally agree. And that is one of the things that I think gets thrown around so much on social media, is like in defense of certain sleep training techniques or things like that. It's like, well, mom's mental health matters too. And here in the States, it's even more fraught because there's no maternity leave. And so they're having to, get back to work when they're still healing and still exhausted. And so it's just even that much more intense. And I'm curious how that plays out in Australia. Like, your maternity leave is pretty good?
Yeah, it's pretty good, I think, compared to yours.
Yeah, compared.
Absolutely. Like, you've set the bar pretty low.
We have. It couldn't be lower.
Could not be
sleep training
lower.
culture is still pretty big in Australia.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I think there's a lot of perfectionism in parenting. There's a lot of focus on independence, as it's same as it would be in the US as well. There's so much focus on raising your kids to be independent and okay without you, and don't be too attached. Don't mollycoddle them. So there's that. There's also, so it's about 18 weeks paid leave from the government, and then your employer might give you more than that. And that 18 weeks can be split between partners as well, between parents.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So you can kind of divvy that up. Like, for example, I was working for government health when I was social working a few years ago. And for my first, I was able to have the whole year off at was half pay, I think.
Okay.
Was it? I can't remember. But you could stretch it over a year. So I'd have 18 weeks from the government, and then I'd have however many weeks, 20 weeks, I think, from work.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so do you find that outside of that cultural pressure where you need to get baby sleeping independently and things like that, do you feel like there's maybe less of an immediate timeline where people aren't necessarily feeling the need to do it at like 4 months?
I think people feel like they need to do it at 4 months anyway, because that's when the rules change, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And so for the first 3 months, everyone's saying, oh, it's the 4th trimester, cuddle your baby, hold your baby, just learn to fall in love, learn to breastfeed, make sure you rest. And then I get to 4 months and like, okay, so your baby should be self-settling. They should be linking their sleep cycles. They should be sleeping independently on their back in their cot. So where are you failing? And let's fix it immediately, because otherwise they're going to be stuck in this 4-month sleep regression forever.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so true. It's so true. The rules really do change and the expectations really do change.
I remember that. I don't know if you remember that with your first as well. I remember
do.
Like, oh, fuck, now I've wrecked it. Like, I thought I was just being like total go with the flow, mum.
Yep.
Like, anxiety about sleep in the background, but still just leaning into it. And then I got to 4 months and I remember emailing sleep consultants like, I think I fucked it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now he won't sleep by himself.
Yep. For me, it was like right in between 3-4 months. Yep. Like 3.5, 4 months is when we started sleep training with my first because of that. I was freaking out and I was set to return to work in the next few weeks. So I was like, we've got to get this figured out or he's not going to be able to sleep at daycare and like all of this stuff. So, I totally relate to that. What about Australian sleep schools? What are those and what's happening? What's happening there?
You don't have these, do you?
We do not. I'm sure it's just a matter of time, but we currently do not. Can you tell us a little bit about what those are?
Yeah, so we have sleep schools in every state that like you stay in for a number of days, and they usually have I think they have a doctor inside, but more so probably just visiting if they need. They have a lot of child health nurses. So I don't know what your equivalent would be, like maternal child health nurse.
We don't really have an equivalent. It's like the pediatrician and then just nurses. But like nobody
Really?
comes to our houses or anything like that. No. If you've ever wondered if the ingredients you're using or products you have in your home are safe while you're expecting, Safe Mom is the perfect app for you. Safe Mom is an ingredient checker app made for expecting moms and their partners, and it was made by a medical professional who experienced her own issues with reading labels during pregnancy. She knew there had to be a better way, so she created Safe Mom, where you can scan everyday products like cosmetics, skincare, sunscreens, and foods. All you have to do is open the app, scan a barcode, or take a picture of the product and get your results in seconds. There are saved, scanned products for easy reference, and you can shop from a list of over 100 pregnancy-safe products right from the app. With so much misinformation and fear-mongering around the internet, I would have loved having something like this as a resource when I was pregnant, and now I recommend it to all of my friends when they're expecting. Download Safe Mom on the App Store for free and start scanning risk-free for 7 days when you download it today. You can try it at home or bring it with you and try it at the store. That's Safe Mom. When hunger strikes and I'm absolutely exhausted, or we're coming home from a trip or activities or camp or all the other fun things we want to do this summer, the last thing I want to do is stare at my empty fridge and try to figure out what we're going to cook for dinner. That's why I absolutely love Factor, because Factor has meals built around your goals, whether that's overall nutrition, more protein, or strength and workout recovery. And each meal is crafted with functional ingredients like lean proteins, colorful veggies, whole foods, and healthy fats. The best part is that they are fresh and never frozen, and there's over 100 rotating weekly meals, including globally inspired flavors like Mediterranean and Asian, so I absolutely never get bored. I always have something new and tasty to look forward to, and the quality is incredible. It tastes like you're eating a high-quality restaurant meal. You can also try the newly launched ready-to-eat salads, which I love for the summertime when it's too hot to eat warm food, and you can also add 70-plus add-ons to round out your nutrition. So from green juices to peanut butter energy bites, and everything's ready so quickly in just 2 minutes. Factor does all the shopping, prepping, and cooking, delivering straight to your door so you have more time for everything else that you want to do this summer. So head to factormeals.com/no-one-told-us-50-off and use code no-one-told-us-50-off to get 50% off and free daily greens per box with new subscriptions only, while supplies last until 9/27/2026. See the website for more details.
The lucky country, hey?
Best country in the world.
Best country in the world. It's thriving. Yeah, so we have child health nurses. So they are trained nurses, and then they do further studies in child and family health. You'd probably need a child health nurse to explain this to you better than I am. And they might do home visits, or postpartum midwives might do home visits and things. So we have child health clinics, which is where you go and get your baby weighed and you get the checkups at, for 6 weeks, 4 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. And so they do the checklist of developmental stuff, and it's great because they pick up on things that need early intervention and then they refer you on. So it's really a really phenomenal service. It's just a lucky dip as to who you get. So there's some fossils in there who make you walk away with problems that you didn't have before. Like I really distinctly remember someone coming in with a 4-month-old, and she was bouncy and she was just happy. Morning. I'm just doing it here because I think I need to. Like, I think it's just what you do. So have the checks, and then later you hear the nurse talking to someone else saying, oh, she thinks everything's rosy. And then when you actually get to the bottom of it, she's not self-settling. She's not linking her sleep cycles, and she's co-sleeping sometimes or napping on her. And I saw this lady walk out and her shoulders had dropped, and she was just took the wind right out of her sails. So, and there are some phenomenal ones who lift you up and focus on the connection with your baby, and, like anything, I guess. Anyway, the sleep schools are manned by child health nurses mainly, and they teach you how to sleep train your baby. They use responsive settling. So it is more that you listen to their cries, and if they are escalating, or like if it's a protest cry, or they're distressed and it's a lot of, patting, shushing through the cot bars. Look, again, it's not black and white. Some people who might have an easygoing baby, who the parents might not have had, role models or education around sleep, might have got a lot out of these stays of just being shown the way.
What to do, yeah.
Yep, what to do, or it can help people who just feel like they're drowning and they don't have the right support or don't know who to go to for what. They can catch them there and they can refer them on. Other people have really bad experiences, like nurses locking the door when they want to go in and respond to their baby, just kind of saying, no, you don't need to. No, go back to bed. He's okay. Give him some time. But I don't want that to cloud the positive experiences that people have. I think you just need to really be really clear on your values to be able to say and advocate for yourself about what you feel comfortable with and what you don't feel comfortable with. And then you also need to get the right staff on duty.
Right.
But I think that's the biggest thing. You need to be able to speak up when something is feeling uncomfortable and say, well, like, I'm not doing that. I'm going to go get him and just walk out.
How common is it that people do that? Like, do most new parents go to one of those schools, or is it just if they're really struggling with sleep?
It's supposed to be if people are really struggling with sleep, but people refer to them so much. Like, it's just a tick and flick. Refer to wherever.
So kind of like sleep training, where it's kind of like if you're having any issue whatsoever, it's just like the easiest thing for them to tell you to go do.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And your experience probably really depends on your child's temperament and how they take to things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So for some, it can be really helpful. For some, it can just increase your own anxiety and just make you feel like you don't trust anyone. There's a lot, there's a myriad of different experiences for people accessing these sleep schools. They also have day stays as well, where you can just go for a day and they teach you how to put them to sleep and
okay. Speaking of anxiety, what do you recommend, or what do you tell moms that you work with who are finding it really hard to let go of the rigidity and who are becoming really obsessed with tracking and wake windows and all of those like really rigid rules? I know you're so good at talking about being flexible and things like that. What do you find is like the most helpful thing to teach those moms?
Get off Instagram. Yeah. That's honestly the number one thing. Hey, like if you, and I notice it, like if I'm trying to follow American politics or something like that, I turn into a horrible person. Yeah. And I just feel like the world is doomed. And I kind of fluctuate. Like I might be in it sometimes and learning about it, and then I might just like shut down entirely. I'm like, I am happy in my bubble and this is where I need to be right now. And then I might dip back in and dip out. It's the same with sleep. Like if your algorithm is so influential, it can control your mood, it can control your choices, it controls your confidence. I just think that is the number one thing that we really need to be wary of is what we're consuming. And then if you are tracking anything, stop tracking. I don't see any good in tracking. And I know some people track, they genuinely don't feel anxious about it. It doesn't consume them. Like, pop off. But I don't see a world where I would be like, why don't you just try tracking? Because it never helps. Like, it's not helpful. And those apps where you track, if you are going to track pen and paper, not an app that's going to say, oh, you popped in 3 times last night. Oh, that's no good. Let's get you in with a sleep consultant.
Yeah, or, that's what they all do now. They all guide you to their sleep consultants or their like AI chatbots or something. It's very creepy.
It's so bad. It's so predatory. I hate all of it. Like I feel so angry about all of it still.
I know.
So yeah, tracking, algo, mindful who you talk to about it. Keep your clock out of the bedroom. Do not count wakes. Don't check the clock. Don't judge your tiredness by the number of wakes because it doesn't add up. Sometimes you might wake lots overnight and feel okay, and other times you might have a really good sleep and feel miserable. So it just doesn't.
So true.
You can't hang your mood on your baby's sleep.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I was at.
I think that's such a good one. My youngest is 3 and I still don't look at the clock in my room at night. I have it set to turn off overnight because I learned about that study where they found like that paradoxical insomnia, where they basically told 2 groups of people. They told one group, even if they had slept well, objectively, they told them that they woke up a bunch. And then they did like the opposite with the other group. And the group that didn't know that they had woken up a lot ended up like, I think they ended up doing better on like a cognitive test or something. I could be getting that wrong, but they found that the more negatively you view your night's sleep, exactly, the worse off you are. Okay, well, I think that's really good advice. We are going to take one more quick break, and when we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about just like motherhood and perfectionism and support and things like that. So we'll be right back. Okay, Fiona. So one thing that you are very good about communicating on your platform, I think, is that we need to let go this idea of being perfect. And how can we find joy even in the bits that are hard? I think you also do a really good job of showing this like ambivalence in motherhood, that we can have all of these different feelings at one time and it doesn't have to be all hard or all amazing and joyful, which I think is so hard on the internet because, like you were saying earlier, our algorithms really just kind of hijack our brains and make us think that either everyone's having a terrible time and the world is ending, or everybody's doing so much better than me and doing more things than me and enjoying this more. What would you say helps you stay grounded in knowing that like it's okay to feel more than one thing at once and we don't have to be doing this perfectly?
I think just swapping out adding and to the end of anything, like, oh my God, this has been a really hard day. And there has been, the sun has been shining, and I have felt more bonded to my baby or anything like that. Using and instead of but, it's not all or nothing. I think we have so many unhelpful thinking styles. Like we can catastrophize, we can be black and white, we can have all or nothing thinking. My husband has all of them. But the internet as well is very black and white. And that is what gets the clicks and the follows, is these really bold statements and hooks and things. And it's actually just not real life most of the time.
So
I think normalizing and validating that mothers feel so many different emotions, that it's not all happy, it's not all good, it's also not all bad. And just leaning into the complicatedness of it. I think it's hard for our brains to get around things that are so layered like that. It's much easier to think something is black or white. Like we don't want to be in the gray area. It's uncomfortable, especially if we have been in quite a lot of control of our lives prior to having a baby.
Right, which I mean, almost all of us are in more control before. And I think so many of the messages that we see about, oh, you're just going to bring your baby along for the ride. Oh, like your life doesn't have to change after you have a baby. And like all of those things are so triggering to me because it's like, of course your life is going to change. And it should, and that's okay.
Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah.
I think that, where was I going to go with that?
This Monday.com ad was created by a team of people and AI agents. The agents wrote the copy and managed the timelines, while our human creative director made sure it all made sense. Easy. Create your own AI agent today on Monday.com.
I lost my train of thought, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
Another thing that I've seen a lot of chatter about recently, speaking of online algorithms and such, is this idea of mom guilt. What do you think about mom guilt? Do you ever feel guilty as a working mom that you're not with your kids 24/7, or, you guys just moved? Do you feel guilty about that? Or are you one of those people that's like, no, I don't subscribe to mom guilt. That's like not a thing I need to take on.
Again, I'm not one way or the other. I push back against mum guilt. The concept of mum guilt, I really actively push back against it because I think it's actually more like mum shame. It's about not being a good enough mum. It's about the standards being completely unrelenting and we're never going to reach them. And no matter how hard we try, we will never be good enough for society's idea of the perfect mum or a good mum, because it doesn't actually add up. It doesn't make sense. The
Yeah.
standards are just so unrelenting. So I reframe that. So for example, not being with my kids all the time, I feel fine about that. I don't feel any guilt about that. I think they have full lives. They have lots of people who love them. And when I'm with them, I'm with them. Sometimes I'm not. When I'm with them, I'm distracted by work and trying to work on the computer. I'm okay with that. Moving here, I don't feel guilty. I feel sad for things they've lost. And I feel confident they will be okay. And I feel really confident in our choice to do it. So I can ground myself with that. But I don't feel guilty because it's not my responsibility to keep my kids happy and to stop them from feeling hard things. It's my job to support them through it.
Right. And I think the word guilt implies that there's been some kind of wrongdoing, like we've done something wrong that we should feel guilty for. And people have just taken on that term of mom guilt to apply it to everything that is like a negative emotion, even if it's okay and a normal part of life.
Also, I've done a lot of work with Dr. Sophie Brock, who this is her arena. And she talks about mum guilt even being like a badge of honor. Like,
like if you don't feel guilty, you must not love your kids enough.
Yeah. Or like, I used to do this segment on Instagram called Still a Good Mum because once my chest of drawers fell onto my son and I felt fucking guilty. That's good. Like, you're not supposed to not feel guilt. I felt guilt because we should have kept him safe and attached him to the wall and we didn't. So I felt guilty. And so then we attached it to the wall. So guilt should be productive. Guilt should lead to action. So guilt says, okay, something's like not in alignment with how I want to parent, with our values. So let's get back on track. It's like a little warning alarm saying, hey, this isn't how you want to be. So guilt there is purposeful. But when we say like, oh yeah, in that segment, I'd have people saying, oh, I gave my kid dippy eggs for dinner. Worst mum. Like, that's a badge of honor. Like, because my kids only eat, organic, homemade, balanced meals every single night.
Right.
And so I stopped doing that because it was just making me angry and upset. Like people were like, oh, my kids had fish fingers. I'm like, oh
my God.
Kids.
Yeah.
Like the standards are just so unrelenting.
No, they really are. I remember that segment you did and I would see things like that and I'd be like, God, we really just are so hard on ourselves.
I know.
So hard on ourselves.
I couldn't do enough work to like push back and then it felt like I was being dismissive of people's feelings if I was like, come on.
Right.
Come on.
But imagine a dad,
right?
Well, and imagine a dad page having something like that. Like, oh, when was the last time you felt dad guilt? It's like it wouldn't exist
because the bar is so low. They don't get the same
low.
Messages as us.
Oh my gosh! Speaking of dads and husbands, I love your just like realness when you share about your relationship with Ross and like how you guys parent and how you communicate and things like that. What is something that you guys have like overcome recently or something that has been helpful for your relationship? Because so many people that listen to the podcast and just people that follow me in general write in all the time asking, and I feel like I've given every piece of advice from my own marriage that I could possibly, like, we don't have it all figured out either. But people really, I think, struggle with their relationships once they have kids in so many different ways, with sharing the mental load and just, intimacy and time alone and everything. So what is something that has helped you guys?
So we've been parents together for 10 plus years now. So we have been through so many different phases of our relationship. And I feel like only in the last, I feel like as the smallest one gets older, we start having fun together again. And it's not that we're not having fun before then, but it's just focused around this tiny human. And that's the way it should be. Like there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But I think at the moment we're really having fun, hanging out, enjoying each other again. And my youngest is almost 3, like I said. We have struggled the last couple of years finding our feet since my husband left his 9 to 5. And in the beginning, it was so fun and exciting and novel. And then it was just kind of like a bit messy. And then it was really stressful, like financially. And then we've just been kind of recovering from all of that. So in terms of him leaving his job, like he left his job because it was a soul-sucking business. in
Yeah.
finance. Like he just
Yeah.
needed to get out, and he's needed this time to be away from something so that he can find out where he was going. And so he was helping in the business, he was helping with Sunny. And now he's kind of found his direction outside of that as well. But that is the one thing that has helped with the mental load and understanding what it takes to be a full-time parent. That is the
Yeah.
only thing.
Is him actually having to do it.
You can yell into the void. You can like scream and shout about what it takes, what you're doing, what you need. But until they're actually getting their hands dirty and doing it and having to plan ahead and think about things, and like it's hard because that takes a place of privilege in order to be able to do that. Not everyone can just like leave their jobs.
Right. Well, unless, I mean, there are countries that have really amazing paternity leave, and they basically like force the parent to take it or the dad to take it, or they have really great incentives for the dad to take it. Like they'll actually give you like subsidies to take your paternity leave. And yeah, I mean, that should be the standard because like you said, there's just no way for them to understand what it takes unless they're hands-on doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I felt when I was pregnant with Sunny, that was like my breaking point. I was just so done of doing everything, being everything for everyone. And a lot of that was just logistics. Like he couldn't do school pickup and drop off because he was at work.
Right.
He genuinely couldn't take enough off my plate because he was at work. And just all the stuff that comes with all of that. Like my kiddo was anxious. So there was so much emotional holding, and while I was like so pregnant, it was so hot, and I had to follow him around the school over while he tried something new, and I was just like so tired and grumpy. But yeah, I think that they really just have to muck in. It's the only way. I really do believe that.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been through lots of different iterations.
Yeah. And I was going to say, when you were talking about like him leaving his job and that being an adjustment, like Marley has been home now for almost 2 years, and it's still an adjustment having him around all the time. And like
I do think they do struggle with well, I should say Ross struggles more with the
probably generalize,
like the boredom.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know that that is part of the changes that happens to a mother's brain when they have a baby, that we can handle a bit more of that monotony and repetitiveness. But also it happens to males who are being primary caregiver to a baby and like being responsible for them. So it's not just women versus men. I think it's women
caregiver versus not.
Yeah.
No, totally. That's that is so interesting how those brain changes happen. What was the other thing I wanted to ask you? I just lost my train of thought. Speaking of men, how can we lower expectations?
Not for men, but well, you need to get your husband off Instagram because he's setting the bar really high.
Oh God, don't even get me started.
Try not to send stuff to my husband because I don't think it would be received very well.
Don't even get me started, and don't let him fool you because I do help him. He likes to pretend like I don't help him, but I do help him sometimes. No, he's so funny with the Instagram because it's like, I mean, he has ADHD, so he'll get an idea and then it'll sit there and bounce around in his brain for like 3 weeks, and then he'll finally decide to execute it. And then I have to help him with every step of the execution. So that's a whole nother thing. Very proud of him for having.
Sounds like me, but they just stay in the ideas just stay somewhere. They don't actually get executed because I don't have a wife to help me with that.
I know. I need a wife. That's what I need. No, I was going to say, speaking of expectations and lowering our expectations, I'm going to switch off of our husbands for a second. But what do you think is a helpful, or what do you think happens when we do lower our expectations, just in terms of like perfectionism and motherhood and things being messy? How can that be freeing for us?
I think we're just never going to win if we are setting the standard so high for ourselves. So I think that it takes a lot of unlearning and unconditioning and just seeing through the rubbish that we see online, that we hear from others, like some of those messages, like the Hallmark cards about what it means to be a mum, which is always self-sacrificing and always puts everyone else's needs above her own and never complains and is also is so patient. Like all of that about this beautiful earth mother who never gets angry. It's just not true because there's a lot to be angry about as women and as mothers especially.
Yeah.
So I think it's a lot of learning to see through all of that and push back against it, and then just sitting with the discomfort of imperfection in order to be able to kind of train yourself to be okay with that. And also knowing that in parenting especially, good enough isn't just good enough, it's actually the gold standard.
Yeah.
You know, like our kids need good enough. Our kids don't need perfect parents. They need parents who show up for them, who are reliable enough, who are very human. Like that Donald Winnicott quote I love. I bring him up
Me
all the
too.
time. And I can never say it off the top of my head, but I would rather have a mother who has all the imperfections and faults of a human. This isn't verbatim, rather than a stranger to doubt.
Yeah. Yeah.
So our kids don't want to, and I always relate it to, like, think about somebody in your life who is perfect. They're always put together. They always look amazing. They're always on time. They're always prepared. They always do the baking. They always like know what's happening for the school things. They're always like just patient and perfect. And how much can you be yourself around them? Because I have friends like that. And if I hear they're coming over, I am panicked about getting the house in order. And I am like self-conscious about how I look. I can't just relax. And then I have like besties who can show up unannounced and I am just myself. Like I don't have to, I can just drop the mask. So find people who can be with you and appreciate you when the mask is dropped.
Yeah.
Because maybe they need to see it too. Maybe they need someone in their lives who drops the mask and it gives them permission to as well.
I love that. And I think that is one of the things that makes me so sad when I hear from moms is that like they don't have close friends or they find it really hard to meet new people and they feel really isolated. What do you feel like is a helpful way for new moms to find connection and support if they don't have a strong village already?
I think online groups can be really helpful. But also it's hard because we're often placed with like mums who have babies at the same time as us in mothers groups, and it might feel really supportive in the early days, and then people kind of start to go in different avenues. I think listen to that. Like you don't owe your mum's group anything. If that is feeling like that's popping off all the time with sleep routines and people sharing sleep guides and whatnot, silence the group and you don't owe them anything, but you might be able to like take a couple of people who you feel aligned with. I think we have to be quite selective about who we spend our time with, but also not to the point of blocking people out because we aren't the same as them.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
It's such a fine line. Yeah.
It's
and I
such a
think
fine line.
in our generation, it's very much like, oh, that person's toxic or like cut them off or no contact. Like all of these things are, boundaries. All of these things are very buzzy. And I do think that there's a time and place for those, obviously, if you're being mistreated. But yeah, I agree. I think we can definitely do a better job of holding space for people doing things differently or you know, as long as they're not harming anybody or making us feel uncomfortable or unsafe, obviously. But yeah.
And I don't know about you, but for me, that came with time as well, because I would feel really triggered by it when I was in the early years and people would be talking about sleep training. And I just felt like, I just don't feel like I can't hear it. And I think it's okay to honor that as well. And you can come back around or just be like, I don't feel like I can talk about sleep because I feel like it's doing something to me.
Yeah.
So that would be a boundary. You don't have to cut them off completely.
Exactly. Well, I was just going to say, like, that is a boundary. You don't have to like stop talking to the person or ghost them. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's a boundary.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
That's helpful. And I think you're right about online groups. I think some of them can be really toxic and hard, but for some people that are really isolated, I think they can be a really nice way to find community and maybe even meet people in real life, right? Like they don't necessarily always have to stay online.
No. So we've got an online community called Coming Home, and what I love about it is that it's got like mums who have just had a baby and they are maybe a little bit anxious or just like overwhelmed and confused, and they're in the thick of it. And then we've got mums who have had like 2 or 3 kids, and I feel like that's a point of difference because the people who have walked before them can be like, hey, it's okay. My baby did this too. Try this. It's
Yes.
okay. You know,
I love that.
really, really
I
nice.
love that.
I think
Yeah,
this is
that's
part of what we're missing in the modern world
I
of
was going to
motherhood.
say, I feel like we're missing, I mean, kids are missing out on like mixed age play groups, in my opinion. And moms are missing out on that like mixed experience because, I mean, for me, when I first became a mom, I joined a mom's group and it was all for first time moms. And like that is helpful. Like you said, in the early days, that can be, you know, nice. We're all going through this massive transformation and we have a lot to connect on in that way. But as I got a little bit further along in my journey, I was like, I actually kind of want to hear from somebody who's done this before and who's on the other side. And like, once I made a few friends that did have older kids, it was like, wow, okay, this is not going to last forever. They're telling me that there's light at the end of the tunnel. I'm going to be okay. We're going to survive this. Like I will sleep again someday. I will like my husband again one day. I will be able to leave the house one day. Like all of those things I feel like are so needed. And so a group like that sounds perfect.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that there is so much that you can connect with people who are in the thick of it as well, but you can really snowball with each other. Like if nobody is saying, hey, this isn't something you need to fix right now. Don't worry.
With no guardrails.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that. Okay, my last question, and then I want you to tell us where we can find that group and all of your other resources. My last question is if there has been a good book you've read recently. It could be a fiction book, a parenting book, just any book that you'd recommend.
Do you know?
Just like putting you on the spot.
No, it's fine because I'm reading again. Like I
love that.
Like,
me too.
Yes. So I have another group that's like just 10 women and they're all kind of, it's not about kids or parenting or sleep. It's just about who we are as mums.
People.
Who we are as people behind mum. And we have a book club, and I've put book club in my membership, put book club in everything else I've done, but nothing's really taken off. And this book club is purely fiction and we are loving it. I'm even finishing my book before book club night.
Wow.
And sometimes I'm reading too. Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Okay, I love it. Okay, so what are the best ones you've read lately?
I think we have the same book at the moment. Are you reading Yesteryear in your book club?
Yes, we just finished Yesteryear.
What did you think?
Okay. Well, oh my God, I have so many thoughts. And I feel like my thoughts are unpopular.
Oh, scandal.
Well, so I really liked it until the twist. And I won't give any spoilers, but I did not love the twist. So I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, I haven't got to the twist yet. I know what the twist is.
Okay. Let me know what you think. I haven't
got there yet, but I'm just loving how it's written, how scathing she is.
Yes, the writing I loved. And I do love the author. Have you ever listened to her podcast? Well, if you're taking a break from American politics, you might not want to. But she has a brilliant podcast called Diabolical Lies, and it's all about politics and culture. She co-hosts it with another brilliant woman. And it's very, very good. Better than the book, in my opinion. I haven't read that. It's very, very good podcast. Okay. So Yesteryear, is there any other that you would recommend that you have read lately?
I just read Liz Nugent. I love Liz Nugent. I love Strange Sally Diamond. And I just read her The Truth About Ruby Cooper. So they're kind of like psychological thrillers, but not that. Oh, we also read The Housemaid. Have you read that in your book? Yes.
Very good. Very good. Strange Sally Diamond. You're the second. Okay, this is like a sign because that's the second time I've heard that book today, and I have never heard of it before.
You would like it.
Okay, amazing. I will also recommend to you one that is nonfiction. It's nonfiction.
Is it
Strangers.
Your book? Strangers. You've just read this?
I read it a couple months ago. It was another one of our book club picks, and we don't normally do nonfiction, but it's a very good memoir about like a New York socialite whose husband leaves her in a very dramatic fashion.
And it's real. Okay. Strangers.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be made into a movie or a show with Gwyneth Paltrow as the star.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very good.
That sounds good. I liked Housemaid movie better than I liked book. I feel like
I think a lot of people felt the same way, which I don't normally feel that way. I usually almost always like the book better.
I also think, like, who was her psychiatrist and how would they actually think she was having delusions, you know?
Right. No spoilers. You guys should read all of these, all of the above.
Yeah, sorry, no spoilers.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining. It was so fun to chat with you as always. Where can everybody find you and get a hold of your resources?
Well, thank you so much for having me, and I'm happy to have finally made it. Mamamatters.com.au is my website. You can come and join in on my group Coming Home. I have all sleep, motherhood resources, consults there. So you can find everything you need there or on Instagram at mamamatters.au.
Perfect. I will put all of that in the show notes for everybody. And thank you again so much. I hope you guys continue to settle into your new home. And I just love everything you're putting out into the world for moms. So I really appreciate you.
Back at ya.
All right. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, Rach.
Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why customers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.